Panther.
Welcome back to D1 Rejects, episode 87. I'm your host, Kobe Manzo. With me today, both on their phones, not showing great attentiveness to start our podcast today. Tyshawn King. Ty.
We locked in on the pod, man.
Yeah, right.
You know what's going on.
And Trev's with us tonight as well. Trev?
Glad to be
No
here.
words for the audience tonight.
to be
Just
here.
so focused. It's good, man. We're gonna have a good episode. We got Reid joining us tonight from Wayne State University in the GLIAC, and really excited to talk to him because Tyrone Wheatley, we've talked about it a little bit on the podcast, the new head coach at Wayne State. He said only for a couple weeks he's been there, right? So the former All-American running back at Michigan went on to have a decent career in the NFL, better than decent career in the NFL. Coached for the NFL for 5 years, and he's now taking the head job down in Detroit at Wayne State. Talked to Drake about that. Ferris State is playing a D1 team this year. Pretty exciting stuff. They released their schedule earlier today, and we had kind of known about that. There have been some things leaked over the summer that was going to be the case. So we'll kind of touch back up on that, see what kind of bank Ferris is making going out to Montana. So we'll talk about them and playing the Grizz.
That game going to be crazy.
It is going to be awesome. Like I'm really excited for that, dude. That's going to be sick. Super Bowl recap. We're not going to give you the whole breakdown of the game. I think that's all anyone's seen for the last week. But just talk about it a little bit because I feel like we should, right? And more importantly, the Twitter beef because that's what we're here for. That's definitely what we're here for.
I didn't come for
the
Twitter
shenanigans.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. So that means y'all are here for it.
Sir, yes, sir.
And finally, XFL kicks off spring season this weekend. First year under the new ownership with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and Danny Garcia, I believe her name is. Hopefully I'm not messing that one up. But those guys are hopefully going to do a good job.
So interested to see how that works.
Yeah. And they're starting before the USFL, which I think is probably a plus, right? Because it'll be the first spring football that people see.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about that. But as always, watch this episode on YouTube. Don't forget, if you are watching, use that little red bar bottom of the screen, timestamps, and just go fast forward to any part that sounds interesting there. Otherwise, listen pretty much anywhere, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. Follow us on Twitter, D1_Rejects, on Instagram and TikTok at Division1 Rejects to see highlights from the show and to see Ty's crazy eyes talking about Jason Kelsey and his wife.
She didn't have a baby in the hot dog stand.
She didn't.
She didn't even have a baby.
I would say I don't even think she delivered one, right?
Yeah, she didn't even have a baby. Did all that we got GN for nothing.
She brought two.
She was
But
ready.
two
We were
OBGYNs.
talking about she was going to bring one OB. She ended up bringing both.
She
Two
had
of
to bring
them
neither.
to not have a baby is kind of
Rihanna should
wild.
have brought her OBGYN.
That was a grand reveal, right? Like nobody knew about that. Was that?
I'm like, me and Tavion watching the game. I'm like, she either didn't recover from her baby or she's pregnant again. I'm like, cause she got a
first
stomach
thought.
on her. She either didn't recover from the baby or she's pregnant again. And I'm like, all right, maybe I'm tripping.
Yeah, that's foul.
And I'm watching Rihanna, so I'm not on my phone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because Rihanna was going crazy.
Of course.
Get on my phone. Everybody's, Rihanna's
On a
pregnant
floating
again.
platform.
I'm like, all right, she was pregnant. All right, bet, makes sense. I thought I was tripping at first. I'm like, maybe the 75-inch is just too crazy for my eyes right now that it makes Rihanna look pregnant. But nobody else looked pregnant, so.
You imagine she pregnant up there about a couple 100 feet off the ground, and that bitch was wobbling.
Did you see the one?
You saw that?
The one like extra or whatever dance
Almost fell.
almost fell.
Shut up.
Did
Are you
see
serious?
that?
No,
Yeah.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
On one of the platforms?
Yeah.
You saw
This girl I went to high school with was a backup dancer there.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Shout out to her, man. That's pretty sweet. You see, they were all cabled in at least, though. They had like something, so they weren't like free balling it up. You know,
Them fireworks was so fake.
were they?
Bro.
I don't know. How could you could fake fireworks? I guess you
Yes.
could. You
On
could.
TV.
Yeah, I guess you could.
Bro, they didn't look real at all. They looked
didn't even
so
think about
they
it.
like Shrek. They like Shrek
Yeah.
fireworks.
I wasn't really.
You
paying
think so?
attention to it.
Bro, I'm
I
watching
felt like those were real.
for the
I don't
amount
know.
of fireworks in an open stadium.
Those
and it
weren't,
was
those weren't
going-
in the stadium.
They were outside the
Those
stadium.
are those are behind the stadium. I thought they were
It
outside.
was going above, like in towards the stadium.
Yeah, it's way above the stadium.
No.
The way I saw it, they had the camera here and Rihanna's here, right? And so the camera's coming back and pointing up and kind of revealing that gap in the ceiling.
I'm talking about the when they showed like the whole stadium. You know how high the fireworks got to be in the air before they go off?
Yeah,
They were going off right above the stadium.
I think
that might be true. I don't know, but
now I want to know.
I know we might have to do a little research when we come back to this segment. But before, let's go to our conversation with Reid from Wayne State. Join us tonight all GLIAC corner out of Wayne State. He's a team captain for the Warriors. Enough said right there. Drake Reid, what's going on, man? Excited to get you on.
Hey man, just started winter ball this week, so we're running on fumes a little bit, but I'm super excited to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah, dude. What is winter ball? What is winter ball in Detroit? What does that look like for you guys?
Just Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Early, we're usually checking in around 5:30, getting into the the athletic complex we got over there, and just getting in, whether it's depending on the day. Tuesdays we'll do some speed school, some conditioning after. Thursday we'll do some agilities, more position-centric drills, and then some condition after again. And then tomorrow morning we got competition day, so that's a little bit more fun.
Hell yeah. That's awesome, dude. We got to get some of those. I know I saw, who was it? West Florida had, I don't know if you're familiar, in a D2 down in Florida, they had some playoff runs. They had competition day, but they had, the guys do the tug of war and whatever.
Yeah. Talking about the little thing.
Yeah, they had this little thing. It was two handles on either side. I had never seen them before. They made it just for a competition day.
They use that? No, they use that instead of the tires.
Yeah, exactly.
You know the one you pull?
Yeah, but it was,
You fill it with water and then there's handles on it. Is that what you're talking about?
No, it was flat. I don't know. I've never seen this thing before, but we got to get you guys something. We need to get you guys something unique. All right. I don't know if you're pulling tires. I don't know what you're doing, but I think everyone needs to get on that train. It's been pretty sweet. But I just wanted to ask, what's the vibe from you guys right now on the team? Obviously, Coach Whitley getting in there, and I would have to imagine people are pretty stoked about that. But what's the mood from the guys right now?
Oh man, excited for sure. The process kind of getting him into the program, with any new coach, it's going to take some time to really get him settled in.
Yeah.
And so, this week has really been the first time we've been able to be around him in, competitive atmosphere and in a coach player atmosphere truly. And, he knows ball, and you could just see how passionate and how much he loves the sport. And, he's very open about it, and he talks about his experiences all the time. And, him being from the Detroit area.
Yep.
And, raised the way he was and going through the things that he's gone through and all the successes that he's had, man, it's exciting to have a guy like that leading your program. And the guys are all fired up. He's a passionate dude. He brings the energy to everything that he does, and so I feel like it's really rubbing off on a lot of the guys.
Hell yeah. I was listening to his presser, and we talked about it a little bit on the show, but I was like, I never even visited Wayne State. Nothing. He had me ready to go run through a wall or something, dude. It was sweet. Pressers can be so hit or miss with guys, especially because it's their first impression in front of, their fans, their audience, even their players and their families. I think a lot of guys are just worried about not saying the wrong thing. He came out, he was, like you said, the passion, I think, was super evident. And he's got reason for that. He was an All-American at Michigan, and then you talk about his experience in the NFL as a player. Then he coached 5 years in the league. That, I think it's going to rub off on you guys. I would hope so. I just feel like, talk about how important that is, that he's been a dude at not only the college level, but the pro level. And you have a lot of guys on the team that I'm sure are trying to follow in his footsteps.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, from a role model standpoint, it's huge being that having the experiences that he has at every single level. And, with that comes the football knowledge and knowing not just the game of football itself from X's and O's standpoint, but man, from a fundamental standpoint. I mean, when you talk about training your body and going through things like winter conditioning, which is always tough, the things that he talks about and he coaches through and he goes over, man, they're so basic. It almost makes you, kind of second guess yourself. You're like, man, you know what I'm saying? Going through drills, he's stopping the drills, just little corrections, little nuances of the game. It's really cool to see.
Yeah. Do I really know the game? He's like, do I really know the game? I like that though. That's good, because I mean that's eye-opening stuff, and it doesn't have to always be groundbreaking shit that takes you to the next level. It could be minor fundamental tweaks to your game, and I guess we could use you as an example of someone like that, as far as you come in redshirt 2019, 2020, obviously not a season there. Then you go on to be honorable mention, all conference, and then solidify yourself as a second team guy. The stock is like this, right? Just up and up. So common sense and any type of investor would have to argue that you could be one of the best in the league at your position this year. What do you, how do you approach that mindset heading into the fall?
Oh man, well, I appreciate that. First of all, I mean, I just try to come in every single day with the same mindset I've had, since the first second I walked on campus. Like you talked about being redshirt, going through COVID. I mean, I remember through that COVID year, man, like I was still probably third on the depth chart in at the field corner position, you know what I'm saying, through that entire offseason, through spring ball even. So going into that 2021 season, it wasn't like I was expecting to be, one of the starting main guys, but, guys get hurt and, guys end up leaving after that COVID year and you get your opportunity. And thankfully, I put in the work and coaches noticed it. So, it's just kind of, again, going in every single day, like with that mindset that you're at the bottom and you got to keep climbing up to the top. And, a big focus for me too this offseason is just trying to lead my guys in the best way I can.
Yep.
The harder I work and the harder that I push to make myself better, none of that really matters if I'm not trying to bring as many guys with me as I can. So, that's been a big focus for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And, like, we'll talk about it a lot too. Like, you guys and us, like, super similar situations, I'd say, right? As far as, the new coach, also just the time of the year and kind of figuring out roster. And you guys are having a little bit more of a stable coaching staff. We're trying to still fill a lot of positions up here. But then, like, not to mince words, like, where we sit at in the conference is kind of a big thing, right? And that's something I want to talk about is, like, look at the last year for you guys. I'm not going to, go saying you won and lost this game, but just these games. I'll go down this list here. Our game with you guys, a 1 score that came down to the fourth quarter. Davenport comes in there. They barely get out with a win. You almost ruined what was really a Cinderella season for them a little bit early, and that one had to have been heartbreaking. It sounded like it came down to the last minute, which was not expected really from any of us. But credit to you guys. Saginaw wins by 1 score. You guys lose at Michigan Tech by 1 point. And it's like, you just feels like, and we've been in this position. We feel this. You need that little push. You need whatever it is to get you on the other side of that hump. And then all of a sudden those 50-50 battles, those 50-50 matchups start going in your favor. Mm-hmm. How do you do it, man? Where do you get the push from? I'm assuming, coach is definitely going to help with that transition, but talk to me about that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The new coaching staff definitely going to help, but at the end of the day, it comes down to us as players. You know what I'm saying? And coming into this offseason, that was a big focus for us was, starting in January, we actually, as we just got our coach about a few weeks ago. So we didn't really know who was going to be leading us. But, at the end of the day, our main focus was to essentially do as much as we could to eliminate those 50-50 games, kind of like you said. As cliche as it might sound, man, that extra rep or that extra, whatever it may be, that could be a deciding factor in those games, and in those games, a lot of the problems in our team kind of show, the inexperience, the youth, not necessarily being totally cohesive as a team, and those things come back to hit you. And, it wasn't one of those things where, we were just gassing out in the fourth quarter. We felt like we were in one of the best shaped teams in the country. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, football is not just a physical game, it's a mental game. And that's another thing we've been trying to focus on is just trying to get everybody, to learn more football, just continue to get in those playbooks, continue to watch film, continue to just grow together. And hopefully those games are going to turn around for us.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about it a little bit, but like, I think prime example of that, Super Bowl, like crazy ass game or crazy ass plays on both sides of the ball throughout the entire game. And then you have the hold at the end of the game that gets Chiefs in field goal position. And that's all anyone wants to talk about, right? Is that last play. And yeah, is that a mistake? Like, you can't do that. Like, not right there. You definitely can't do that. And then part of the conversation is like, why do you make that call? But like, I don't know. It's a call is a call, right? But like, at the end of the day, that shouldn't be the deciding factor, right? There are so many points throughout the rest of that game where that could have flipped. And I think that's why I credit like Jalen Hurts so much is because through it all is just, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Zen. Like,
I would have loved, I'll have to see, I'm sure they have it. They probably had a camera on him at all times. But like, I would have loved to see as that flag is thrown, as the hold, and they figure out the call, I would love to see his reaction. Like, you think that he even got a little bit of a frown on his face or what? Like, it used to be stone cold probably.
Oh man. I'd bet, but then again, out of all the years I've watched Jalen Hurts play, I can't remember the last time I've seen him show too much emotion. So
the only thing I can think of is that squat video. I think was that at Oklahoma when he got over there?
Yeah.
Dude. That was wild. I don't know if you've seen that one. He had way too many plates on that bar. I don't know why they put a quarterback under that much weight.
Oh yeah,
That was impressive as hell. I don't know what's going on, but he's a monster. But back to Coach Wheatley a little bit. A shift in the energy, in the focus. What is it about him when he enters a room and his kind of just his persona, for lack of a better word, that has guys ready to follow him anywhere?
Man, I mean, I could talk about passion all day, but I feel like one of the big elements to it, I feel like a lot of guys can relate to him. A lot of guys that kind of grew up in rougher environments, a lot of guys that really have those NFL aspirations and really want to make it to the next level. And for especially the younger guys, coming up, whether or not they played this past year, man, whenever he walks in the building, man, it's time to work and it's time to lock in and focus up. And he's not scared to step on people's toes. You talk about the press conference, man. He toned it down 100 times for the press conference.
I love that.
Every single time he's I still remember the first time we were in the weight room, man. I mean, I'm not going to say what exactly he said. Not that it was that terrible, but, it's for the team. But I still remember the first time he kind of met the team in the weight room and everybody was looking around like, oh, yeah, this is going to be different. We can already feel the energy. So, again, man, he's just so motivated, man. And you could tell he really, really wants to be here and that this is really a spot that he feels he can make a change with. Being at home, he talked about how being at home was big for him. And you could really see how much care he has for it, still wearing all the Wayne gear and then the Detroit versus everybody. I feel like he's always wearing one of those pieces every time I see him. So, yeah.
I'm just saying your guys' big thing is, this is our Detroit, right? Like that's that's super, like right here, right? That's you guys. Yeah. So for him to come in, embrace that, and like double, triple down on it, I love it, dude. I love it. But Ty, got something?
One thing I wanted to ask, like Kobe said, we both had similar seasons as teams last year. I want to know, like, how do you go about every week knowing that really you was a couple plays away from swinging an entire game a whole different way, and how do you keep that same determination and just try to keep uplifting your guys? Like how tough of a challenge is that, knowing that like some people play football for different reasons. So when you're going out there and losing games, they heart not in it, and then their head get out of it. How tough of a challenge was that for you guys last year?
Oh man, incredibly tough. It wasn't, especially towards the middle of the season there, man, it was really the aura, you could say, kind of around the football team, man. It wasn't great. And I mean, it's never going to be great when you're losing games, especially in the fashion that we was losing. But, my mentality through it all and some of the leaders' mentality through it all on the team, man, is just, we're losing all these tight games, but, we're one play away, 2 plays away, 3 plays away, however many plays away it is. And it doesn't even come down to the fourth quarter all the time. Like you said earlier, it comes down to the little things. And so I feel like it was just coming into each and every week, understanding that, look, it's not like we can't play with any of these teams in the conference, any of these teams in the country. We've proven ourselves against some of the best competition. We've been up there. Obviously that's not enough. And we got to make those little adjustments, and we just got to finish these games, man, and just keep sticking with each other, because at the end of the day, we can feel sorry for ourselves as much as we want, but nobody's coming to rescue us. We just got to take it week by week, keep getting better, and every single loss and every single setback, you just got to take it as a learning opportunity. And so that's kind of what my message was throughout the season, preaching to the guys, like, look, man, you can sit here and feel sorry for yourself that you're losing all these tight games, but at the end of the day, you got to look at yourself and at some point and say, look, we can do this. We're putting ourselves in these positions to win these games. It's just following through.
Burn the boats, man.
Yeah.
Burn the boats. You heard that one before from Goggins?
Oh yeah, burn the boats.
I love that. You guys heard that one?
No.
It's basically like when supposedly, again, I don't know how much like truth there is to this, but when the Vikings would show up to conquer a land or something, they would get off their boats, get onto the island, and turn around and burn their boats, so there was no going back. They're all in. So it was either kill everybody on this island or we're done for. So it's like burn the boats. Like this, we're all in right now. That's what it's got to be. I don't know. Maybe a little corny, but when Goggins says it,
super corny.
When it's coming from Goggins' mouth and not mine, it's badass. All right, I did a kind of a piss poor way of explaining it, so I apologize.
That didn't sound very enticing.
Man, shut up. Go listen to Goggins say it.
Hey, but look, all right. So to follow my question up, so when you look around the conference, GV lose their head coach, Couple players hop in the portal. Sure, some more go. Ferris lose a lot of pieces. Probably the biggest piece in Division II in my eyes, and Caleb Murphy. You know, is what, 4 or 5 teams with new head coaches. The GLIAC probably is wide open as it's been in the past couple years. And like I say, there's so many games where y'all a play here, a play there away. How do you like make guys realize? Because a lot of people don't see the vision.
Capitalize,
you know, how do you make guys realize that this is something that is a true possibility and it can be achieved? How do you get that out of those guys? Like I say, because a lot of people don't see the vision. How do you make them see that vision?
Yeah, it's a good question. I feel like, and I'm going to give some credit to my teammates here, man, is like I said, we kind of hit some rough patches in the middle of the season, but, the guys, they truly didn't ever stop fighting. They truly didn't. As upset they might have been, or as, dejected as they might have been because of all the things that we went through, man, they never stopped fighting. They never stopped believing that, look, we can be one of the most competitive teams in the country. And with all the movement that's gone around the GLIAC, man, that's something that we've all been kind of keeping an eye on. And especially because, our coach, I believe, was one of the first ones to kind of leave. So, as we kind of saw all the other pieces in the GLIAC moving around, man, we all kind of started looking at each other like, look, like, this ain't just like some one-off thing. We're not sitting here like, we can't just be sitting here pouting like, okay, we're rebuilding or what, this, that, like, nah. There's a lot of different teams that are going to be in the same position that we're going to be in. Yep. It's all about capitalizing on the opportunity that we have, and it's kind of just resetting that mindset, Yeah, a lot of those teams, man, getting new coaches, a lot of guys moving around, especially at GV, where their new head coach, man, was one of the coaches when I ended up coming to Wayne, and he knows ball. So, it's one of those things where just because these teams are going to look a lot different, it doesn't mean that they're going to be any worse per se, or the matchup's going to be any easier, or we're going to be able to take advantage of these guys. It's all about opportunity, and we just got to take advantage of that.
I'm gonna say that's been their thing, especially like the GVs and the Ferrises, right? Like not rebuild, reload, which is like dumb. I hate that saying, but like, how else do you say that? Like that's what they do. So and that's what makes them, like that upper step ahead. So that's what the teams like you and like us are trying to get to. So I love it, man. But I'm excited for you guys to, be around Coach Moore one and kind of really get that gel with the guys and kind of as the staff really shakes out, finish up spring ball. Like I said earlier, man, up. That's all it is, right? Just keep trending upwards. But Drake, really appreciate you, man. Glad we get you on here.
No, man. Thank you for having me. Congratulations again on all the success, man.
My man. Appreciate you. We'll be in touch, brother. See ya.
Yes, sir. Take care.
Appreciate Drake. Good having him on.
Good dude.
He is good. Yeah, good dude. That's what we all said, right? It's always funny, like when you hang up with a dude on the pod and you kind of get my stuff situated, and we're like, for the most part, I mean, you got a couple of oddballs on here. For the most part, we're like, yeah, I like that dude. Like, that was a good conversation.
Kobe be sneak dissing on y'all.
Shut up, bro.
As soon as y'all get off.
Don't even say that. Don't even put that into the world, bro. He playing.
We should have never brought him on here. He sucks.
Tell him you playing. I do not be saying that. Come on now.
He don't be saying that. He love all y'all.
Come on,
I be feeling some type of way about some of y'all be corn. I'm just playing. I'm just playing, y'all. I'm a practical jokester.
I be sitting there with a smile on my face. I'm just happy that like it's come from like. Don't get me wrong, I still ask dudes to be on the show, right? Because I still got to reach out to dudes. But like, it's come so far from like, I don't want to say begging, but it felt like I really had to be persistent about getting dudes on the show. And now it's like, usually I hit somebody up and they're like, they initiate and they're like, yeah, like I'd be awesome. I'd love to be a part of this. And like, he had some really nice things to say. So I appreciate you, Drake. I appreciate all of our guests that have come on here.
Most
contrary to popular belief.
Majority.
Yeah. It's been fun, man. But let's stick in D2 for a little bit. Ferris State, they add a D1 opponent to their 2023 schedule, fellas. They released their schedule today, Thursday, as we're recording this. I'll pull it up here on the big screen for us to take a look at. And here is the schedule in 2023 for the Bulldogs. Now, right off the bat, August 31st versus Mercyhurst. I was not expecting that one. Mercyhurst was 1-9 last year, and I'm pretty sure they gutted their entire coaching staff. They don't come from a great league. And
where is that?
I believe Pennsylvania, I want to say. I believe Pennsylvania, because my old boss, my SID, is at Mercyhurst, which is why I at least know a little bit about them. And I know enough to know their football team is not great. So
tune-up for Ashland.
What's up?
That's a tune-up for Ashland.
A tune-up for Ashland. Okay, yeah, no, I think you're right. I think you are right. So going from Mercyhurst to Ashland, who was
Ashland, a tune-up for Montana.
and then
That's a hell of a tune-up.
Montana, a tune-up for Northern Michigan.
Funham Gray.
But in all seriousness, Ashland, that was a tough one. Ashland, top 10 team last year for maybe 3 or 4 weeks in a row. Like they were on the top of those polls. Ended up getting beat by Hillsdale, which was a kind of a shock to everyone in that conference.
Lake Erie too.
They did. So
which was weird.
Very inconsistent
we beat
play
the
from
shit out
them.
of Lake Erie. So really, we better than Ashland.
Really inconsistent play out of them. I don't want to play that game, but Ashland's been a solid squad, and they're going to be a solid team next year. So you bring in Ashland. Mercyhurst, like I said, is kind of a questionable one. But then Montana, September 16th, that's the one we're going to talk about, right? So, and also you have to add in there American International, which I believe Grand Valley played last year and thumped. So I don't know what their story is. I can't really speak on their situation.
But they're coming to Ferris, so they come to get their ass beat.
Exactly. So anyways, we were kind of on this. We uploaded the video 6 months ago. I posted a clip of it to Twitter earlier today, so hopefully you guys saw that one. But basically, I'll reference the same article I referenced when we were making that video from FBSschedules.com talking about how the Grizzlies, however, added Ferris to their schedule. They're going to host them in Washington Grizzly Stadium in Missoula, Montana on Saturday, September 16th. And this is what we had talked about, the $175,000 guarantee for playing the game. Again, according to this website, they had supposedly seen a copy of the contract. I don't know how much I buy that, but I don't think that number's crazy unrealistic for that level of, that level of school.
I would say it's pretty
I don't
realistic.
know. The website is kind of because in a situation that I'm in, you look at people's schedules. Like you can't go on somebody's schedule right now and see their schedule for the most part. But like I promise you, like majority of you go see an entire team's schedule. Division I for the most part, whether it's FCS or FBS, you can see somebody's whole schedule, and it hasn't been released yet.
Yeah.
And when you go on Montana, you know what I'm saying? You'll see Ferris State.
Yeah. So,
crazy.
I mean, you're just trying to say, like, they're on their shit.
Usually
Yeah.
they're correct.
So I don't know who's supplying them or they got sources, but they're somewhere.
Not a money part. I don't know about all that.
Yeah.
But for like most part, like who plays who, they be on their shit.
And they were on it. So I'm glad we trusted them to begin with. Imagine playing in this stadium, fellas. Holy shit.
That's an FBS stadium. I guess
really,
when you're in
it feels
Montana,
like
you can do whatever you want.
Right? I mean, it ain't no shortage of land. You can make it as big as you want, right?
And then who else in Montana? Everybody going to the game.
There's not much going on.
That's the whole
Not
state.
much else going on, man.
That's the whole state in that stadium right now. That's the whole state of Montana.
So when they had
And a couple Idahoans.
when they had game day out there, do you remember it was Montana versus Montana State for game day? Now, Montana, I believe, was at one point like number 14 in the country for FCS. So this is not like some, low-level FCS team.
They're
It's
good
a
at year
pity.
in, year out.
Exactly. They're consistently good, which is important. And then they lost in the second round of the playoffs to NDSU, who went to the national championship. And then their rival, Montana State, was number 3 or 4 in the country.
is crazy.
And they went all the way to the semifinal game, right, in which they lost to South Dakota State. There you go.
The Jackrabbits.
So a lot of good football there in Montana. Is it all that steer wrestling? You just really like those type of muscles? I mean, imagine this. Full-ass cow coming at you. You grab it, and you're turning and twisting it to the ground. How does that compare to a defensive lineman? Riddle me that.
It has nothing to do with
Not
steer
everyone in
wrestling.
Montana
When you have
is
the
gonna be a
entire
steel
state,
wrestler.
You don't think so?
the entire state of Montana is in that stadium right now because Montana State playing away. They probably don't even. They just root for whoever.
They just
in the
switch out
state.
the shirt. Whoever's
they
home
root
that
for
weekend.
Whoever in the state. It's like the Clippers and the Lakers. One night you a Clippers fan, the next night you a Lakers fan. You just love LA. They just love Montana so much. When you got a whole state rooting for you like that, Montana and Montana State are Alabama and Auburn to them.
Yeah, that's a great. I think that's a pretty good point, actually.
So when you got the whole state root, because what else is in Alabama? Don't even say it.
I ain't even been.
Montana is just nothing but mountains and probably coyotes. And some grizzlies too, probably, since they're the grizzlies.
So.
And bobcats too, because of Montana. You know what I'm saying? Like,
To refute your argument, no, not all Montanians. How do you
Montanians.
Montanians? Not all of
Montanians.
them are steel wrestlers. I would like to get the percentage of how many offensive linemen did
There
steel
gotta
wrestling
be-
as they grew up.
More like farmers or something. Like
Yeah.
just like working.
What do you think that percentage would be? Because I probably won't, but I'd like to find that out. I think it's over 60% of those guys have done steer wrestling growing up.
Okay.
Realistic?
Sure. Or like any of that stuff. Like
Yeah.
that cowboy, like
Rodeo. Like rodeo. Yeah,
rodeo.
rodeo. That's the word. Because
For.
Pat McAfee, I don't know if you saw, he did some of that when he was there for game day.
Yeah, yeah.
Electric. It was awesome. I've covered some rodeos up here in the UP.
I got rodeos up here.
We got rodeos up
How
here.
you still wrestle on ice?
They're interesting for sure. I'll give them that. But anyways, rounding out the schedule for Ferris, you have all the obvious league opponents, and that starts with us September 30th. So they have a bye week.
They have a bye.
It looks
That's
like,
smart.
right?
That's very smart.
Especially coming off of a game like of that
you have to go
caliber.
to Montana. It's not like you're going
That's also true travel
Yeah,
times. I didn't even think
yeah.
about that. Yeah.
across the nation.
Yeah. Which obviously, I mean, they'll be flying to that one. If you're getting 175 grand,
Yes,
right?
They're flying to that one.
Yeah. Okay. I would assume so.
I don't know, man. They might save some money getting on the bus.
That's what I don't know.
Dion was talking about like the HBCUs. Alabama, or I think it was Alabama State, had got flew out by UCLA. They gave them $1 million, and they spent all the money on travel. Didn't even profit from the game. Spent all the money on travel and hotels and feeding the kids to get their ass beat by 60.
I feel
I will
like
put them children on the bus
I feel like
to
the
make
bus
you hungrier.
at a certain point the bus might be more expensive. Think about
Gas.
like gas.
I would. Yeah. I don't know. That's a good point.
time,
I don't
like-
know enough.
You
All
gotta
right,
get
so
more.
they would have to treat me like a stripper and fly me out there. You want us to play? You're going to have to fly us out. Because Ferris State a bad bitch. Back-to-back national champs. That ain't no normal. That ain't no IG model.
They being courted by a lot of They being courted by a lot of teams probably.
I'm saying-
Yeah, I'm saying this. I would assume is not the first FCS team to ask to play them, right? With the,
For sure.
with the
played
state they've
it on
had.
the D1 like recently.
I don't
You
think
know?
so.
No.
Right? And
Would you
if
want
we
to put
do
Ferris
get-
on your schedule?
It's a lose. Like
Because you like, all right, I'm going to play a D2 team.
it's a lose.
That's a tune-up. That's like somebody scheduling South Dakota State next year. You don't want that on your schedule.
Yeah, like you're talking about like a major like FBS team
You feel me?
scheduling South Dakota State. Yeah,
Yeah,
because then
that's-
you
like-
win and you're like, okay, yeah, they were supposed to beat them, or
But
then
if
you lose,
Oh my god. Yeah.
the world's over, right?
If like, think about it. Like I say, the whole state of Montana is going to those games. You lose to Ferris State, you got all the Big Rapids and Montanians in your stadium. You got to think about it.
There's not much of Big
Montana.
Rapids.
They probably don't have. They don't have no
Hey, but
internet.
who is there travels well though.
They do.
They showed out to McKinney, Texas too for their two
Listen.
national championships.
Listen, Montana probably don't have no internet, no car
no
newer than
cars.
1987.
You think there's just a bunch of Amish people out there?
When they lose to Ferris, if they lose to, I ain't gonna say win.
I'm saying wins
If they
pretty
lose to
cocky,
Ferris, imagine when them kids find out it's something called a transfer portal. They just gonna all go play for Tony and East.
well, thankfully
They
they
got
won't be finding
internet.
out on Twitter.
They
Apparently,
got 2015s. They got apartments. They don't have to live in a hut no more. They don't have to walk 3 miles to get to the stadium.
You funny.
They go to school for real now. Montana not even a real place. Show me somebody who's been to Montana. I'll show you a ferry.
You funny.
I'm trying not to do the crazy eyes.
yeah.
I'm finna start wearing my shades again.
But we can move on. We talked about it a bunch in the intro, the fireworks at the Super Bowl, right? Let's talk Super Bowl and then we'll get to fireworks later, right? So Super Bowl, I mentioned it with Drake, the holding call at the end of the game, not ideal, and the conversation has been all about that. I don't want to come on here and rehash the entire thing because I think enough people who are smarter than us have kind of done that already. But that aside, that was a hell of a game. Like that was one of the best Super Bowls that I can remember
One of the
watching
best
in
I remember.
recent history,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. And it felt like at any time, I think this was the most important thing. It felt like any time, like either of these teams could have a big play and like that could be their game, right? So
Felt like the team that had the ball last was gonna win.
that's true. It
Yeah.
felt like a
was
Chiefs
just back
Bills type, yeah, like that. You know, kind of like
Back
how we
and
talk about the
forth.
overtime
Yeah,
type
yeah,
deal. Yeah. And I totally like you get a thought process, and then mine just went and it just left me. That's what I want to talk about. Mahomes, second Super Bowl, second MVP, joins Brady and was it Montana? He has the only two others. To
He's
do
a
that.
top 10 quarterback of all time already.
I
Top
agree.
10. Somebody,
Which is
some
crazy,
people
but I
say-
think so,
Some
man.
people say like top 5. That's a stretch,
Top 5, not yet.
but he's top 10. right now.
Which is insane for what his age is, obviously.
What's your top 5 NFL quarterbacks all time?
Dude,
Right now?
I'm not smart enough to make that list.
Brady, Manning, Breeze, Marino, Joe Montana.
That's a really good list.
That's a pretty good list.
I can't even argue it. Like,
Yeah. But it's hard because you just never know, like, especially with the older guys. But you got, like, you got Marino, you got Montana. I don't know. I can't argue with that one.
I don't think he passed Favre yet. I don't think he passed Rodgers yet. But I would put him probably at 8.
Mm-hmm.
8th best quarterback of all time.
I say top 10 for sure. And they even asked Peyton, and Peyton said he has a Hall of Fame resume right now.
Right now today.
Mm-hmm.
Right now today.
Like, hang up the cleats, get fitted
Hall
for a
of Fame,
jacket.
right now today.
He ain't even got to wait the years to be eligible.
Right now today.
Either way, that game was awesome. He wins the Super Bowl MVP.
Jalen Hurts should have won it,
That's
though.
exactly what I was going to say. What did you think about that? Because obviously the MVP 8 times out of 10, 9 times out of 10 goes to a guy on the winning squad.
yeah.
But, like, it's not illegal, right, for it to go to – because he, in my eyes, was the most valuable player in that game.
I don't think they'll ever give it to
They
a
don't.
losing player.
It's a bad look.
Because, like, LeBron should have won it in 2015 when they lost to the Warriors. Like, it's hard for you to give, yeah, you won, but here's the most valuable player. And then, like, do you even want to accept that?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because then you got to keep a losing player on the field with this whole celebration. Because what you going to do?
That's true because you got to present the – yeah.
You got to present the award. I don't think
remember
that
them ever giving it to, like, since I remember giving it to them.
the only person that I know that ever won, like, MVP of a losing, like, championship was Jerry West.
Really?
Yep.
I did not know that.
They lost to the Celtics.
I just know that
And he won Finals
they
MVP.
can do it. I know like it's not like impossible. There's not written that like thou shall not give award to
but
losing player.
I don't think they should, though.
No, they should.
Because the optics, bro, that'd just be crazy.
Agreed.
Now Jalen Hurts got to sit among
that you say
all
that,
these celebrating Chiefs, stand on top of this float with Goodell, Mahomes, Frank Clark, and Chris Jones to accept the trophy. Super Bowl MVP,
then, like,
Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, because then
What do you have
like
to say about your
Well, then-
award?
Yeah, he'd be like, we lost. Like he's
especially
not gonna-
Jalen too. Jalen wouldn't give any like. And then you have to imagine too like if he's gonna stay out there, then you got other guys who are gonna stay out there with him, so he's not alone. I would imagine, right? Like a couple guys like, you know what I mean?
I don't
But
think
then-
they beat him up.
That's not what I'm. It's not like a security detail.
I was gonna say I don't think that the Chiefs would have beat him up.
No, I'm just saying like guys would want to stay out there and support him to see him accept the award. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
I
his
don't.
guys.
The only way that you can do that, like have an opposing player win it, is you announce it like days after.
Yeah, where you're separate from the actual event.
That's the only way you can do it if you
Which
announce
they'll
it days
never-
after.
They're not going to change that.
Exactly. So
Actually, it might not be the dumbest thing because it doesn't have to be days later, but maybe like even the next day because then you kind of keep the headlines going for the NFL, right?
next day, but like
Yeah.
just so you can keep it like fair.
Yeah.
Really? Because
So-
Jalen Hurts was the best player in that football game.
Agreed.
Mahomes didn't even pass for 200 yards.
I was going to say, I got the stats here. 21 for 27, 182 yards, 3 tuds, which is it's a pretty damn good stat line. Then
Come on, he threw 2 gimmies.
on the, but I'm just talking stats, straight stats. Obviously, I watched
I'm
the
gonna
game.
shut up. Go ahead.
We watched the game. We watched football, right?
Yep.
We watched football.
They watch the game. I watch ball.
Exactly. We watch football. We understand, like, there are certain throws that are gimmies, like you said. But stats are stats, and his PFF grade or whatever you want to go that route is going to be, I'm not
Like
a big PFF guy.
something.
Yeah, I'm not a big PFF guy either. But you add on the rushing part of his game, actually was impressive. 6 carries for 44 yards, that one big scramble kind of. And really, I just want to talk about that because the ankle was the topic of conversation. He had that one kind of fluke tackle where it didn't look that bad. Remember, we were watching it and we're like,
Yeah.
he didn't really get rolled up or anything, but he got up and he was like seriously limping. And
Faked
then he comes out and
He
like,
faked it.
you think so?
No.
No.
probably not.
Or you just
Bro.
bullshit?
I think they.
I had a-
I
I
want
had a
to
high-
know what they put.
I had a
in
high
his
ankle sprain my
ankle.
That's
freshman
what I'm
year.
saying.
No. I had a high ankle sprain my freshman year. It's like the slightest.
Oh yeah,
even-
I've been there. Trust me.
boom. Ah, it's over with. You think it's over with. You think you're dying. You go over there, you pop 2,000 milligrams ibuprofen. Nah, they in the NFL. They got more than
Hey, I'm
ibuprofen.
saying he
probably-
ain't popping no ibuprofen.
Took some morphine and just.
Like in a
You
military movie.
shoot him up a little bit. He can't feel nothing. Patrick
took
Mahomes
something, yeah.
was so high that
He
second
came out
half.
of the blue tent skipping.
Yeah, he was probably so high that second half. It was. He limped to the locker room. He probably did 6 backflips consecutively coming out. He was running off straight adrenaline and streaming Rihanna halftime performance.
I always think when I think of this, and the kind of way we were talking about this, that clip of LeBron when he comes down, he's dribbling, and he has that moment of he's like acting like, oh, I'm so tired, and he gets kind of sloppy with the ball.
And shoot a three
and
right
then,
in your shit.
No, then the dude presses him. He uses the moment he turns it back on, gets around and right to the basket, easy lay-in. And I remember someone quoted the tweet and was like, this is how the old heads at LA Fitness be playing. Like, they be acting.
I didn't see that. He was in the corner. He was like,
yes.
And he just drove around. I didn't see that.
So that is the equivalent of kind of like what you were getting at is like, oh, the defender's thinking he's got a bum ankle, whatever. All of a sudden, he's splitting defenders in the middle of the field. Like, what the hell is going on? I thought
that was the worst football field anybody's ever played on.
Yeah, we can talk about that a little bit too. And what really sucks is that they were touting the sod father like crazy before the game. This was his last Super Bowl, and he's maintained the field for all these different Super Bowls.
Should have retired last year.
Apparently, the sod
But no,
father
they
was
said they
washed.
painted the entire field.
Is that what they said?
Yeah, they painted the whole field.
Now, who thought of that? I have never made a field of sod in my life. I can tell you that's not a good idea.
They say they painted the whole field because, they say the field was 2 years in the making. They spent $800,000 on it. They rolled it in and out every day so it could get sunlight, natural sunlight and stuff like that. They say they painted the whole field, and with the Arizona humidity, when the sun went down, it got slick like that. Like if you watch it wasn't just over painted areas. They were slipping everywhere.
It was.
And grass don't do that. I don't care what you do to the grass. Grass not that slippery, and it didn't rain in there.
I'm gonna say unless obviously
they say they painted the whole field, and the humidity made.
I did not know that.
Why would you paint a whole football field?
That's what I'm saying. I've never done that in my life.
The green was painted.
They said they painted the whole field.
Why would that doesn't make any sense unless the grass didn't look good,
for TV. That's what I'm thinking, right? Like they had to have this image of Super Bowl, football.
Maybe it was just I don't know,
probably yellow.
Yeah.
It's Arizona grass, man. It ain't going to be the Amazon. You know what I mean?
So that's why they say they painted the whole field. That's bad. You should have just.
Relate that stat line we just talked about Mahomes. Hurts, 27 for 38, 304 yards, and a touchdown. And not only the stats were great, he's also the leading rusher on his team with 15 carries for 70 yards and 3 tuds.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And not that it's not this way with Patrick Mahomes, but the entire offense runs through Jalen Hurts. And that's anyone at the quarterback position. I understand that. But we saw, I think at the beginning of the year, too, they talked about, this Eagles offense is so loaded, you could put Joe Schmo in there. Well, you couldn't, because we saw Gardner Minshew go in there and played well, but not.
They didn't win.
Exactly.
He played good.
Yeah.
But they didn't win.
Exactly. And so that's why when you talk about MVP, and then you have to get into, what does MVP really mean? Most valuable player. And I just don't. You see, I never like it.
Kelsey and Mahomes basically said that Jalen Hurts deserved the MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Even Mahomes said that.
Yeah, he did. And Mahomes, we've got a kind of this is my one kind of funny video for us today, and I have to turn the volume on the TV up for this one. But Mahomes post game, at the parade.
Is this where he almost falls off?
No, I wish I don't have that video up right now. But at the parade,
he gave the trophy to a fan.
He did, which is crazy. But at the game, you're putting down brews, right? And what happens when you put down a lot of brews, fellas?
I wouldn't know. I don't drink beer.
Okay, well, I'm 21. I'm of age. I've had a few brews in my lifetime. And when you drink a lot of brews, you got to break the seal.
Huh?
He goes into the porta. You got to take a piss. Tom.
Oh, I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, bro, what?
Well, you never heard that?
No.
You gotta pee. That's what it means.
Yes. Anyways, you get a lot of brews and you got to break the seal. He goes and does that in the porta potty. And this was the reaction from
they
the
watched
fans.
them piss?
Dude, look at they're surrounding the Porta John. He comes out. Yeah, I took a piss. Look, he's doing a walk.
He's had a few too many brews.
Yeah, like I said, he definitely had a few brews there before that. I just thought that was awesome. These guys, I mean, everyone in attendance there has had probably a few too many. I think we can probably agree on that. But
if Philly would have won a Super Bowl again, the entire city would have went in the flames. They'd have burnt Philly down.
There would be
no Philly.
There would no be Philly. That's good. But we can pivot here and finish our conversation about the fireworks. Rihanna, real or fake, conspiracy or not?
Fake.
We have the video here of Rihanna's Super Bowl halftime fireworks above, I forget what the stadium is called, but Arizona
State Farm.
State Farm Stadium. Fellas, here it is.
The stadium look fake, don't it?
No, it does not. Shut up. Here come the fireworks in 3, 2, 1. And I'll do the sound effects for you guys.
Those look real to me.
Those are real fireworks.
No, it's not this one. It was.
It's when they have all of them. Is that what
It's like it was like Disney princess fireworks.
You know what? I actually did think like in the Disney opener
Man, fuck out of here.
Look at those.
Those are real.
But see how it's lighting up the stadium? Like that is real.
Fuck out of here, fam.
I know what you mean though. When the Disney opener plays and all the fireworks are going across the castle,
you could see it. You could see it. She's looking up. You can't see no fireworks.
I'm confused. What do you mean? Like you can't see no fireworks?
They're going
the
straight
stadium.
up. So where she's at,
the dome is open, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can see.
Remember, Mike. There you go. So people can hear you.
My bad. The dome open.
Yeah.
The top was open. So she looking up, right?
Yeah.
The camera's at an angle, so you see her like this. You can't see any fireworks. It don't matter if she looking, if they going straight. You would have seen them behind her, because it's not. The camera's like this, so it's pointed up in the air. If anything was shooting up behind her, you'd have saw it.
We did, didn't we? Isn't that how when we saw them?
No, you don't see the fireworks when she looking in the air. You only see the fireworks from the camera outside.
Do they go?
No, we saw them from inside.
No, you don't.
Yeah, because it was a cable cam.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly, there's a cable cam that pulled back. It was a really cool camera movement.
I
can't pull up the actual one from the broadcast because I'm not allowed to.
I ain't see that. I'm looking at Rihanna. I'm like, them fireworks look fake as hell. And then that wasn't an angle either on TV.
No, that was not on TV. I just want to show you the fireworks.
The angle on TV, nigga, and when it showed her, she looking in the air, you can hear the fireworks going off. Can't see anything. Can't see anything.
You got to do some more research on that for us. Find out if this conspiracy has some rational.
She probably not even pregnant for real.
No, that's crazy.
All this shit a sham.
The pregnancy, the fireworks, man, the whole bowl.
She wasn't even out there.
That wasn't even fucking Rihanna.
That was deep fake.
That was fucking
who?
Brianna.
It was Brianna. Did you break your mic over there? What did you do?
I ain't even gonna fuck with it, man. I'm gonna just. I can't
really
get it back up, so I gotta lay like this.
He's halfway on the couch by now.
You gotta twist the knob, and then you can bring it up. You feel me?
Bro, this knob tough as fuck. Come on, let's just finish the episode so I can get out of here.
So, to wrap up the Super Bowl talk, this is what I wanted to talk about, was the Twitter fingers. And fellas, it all started with this on Valentine's Day from Juju, and he says, "I'll hold you when it matters most." A little bit of a temp, because this is what all the sports teams do. They do like some funny little things. And Juju, thank you for fixing your mic there. I see you, Ty. Juju took his own spin on this after that obvious holding call. Obviously after the holding call. I didn't mean it was an obvious holding call. I misplaced the words there. But this is what stirred up a lot of drama from the NFL world just the other day. And we'll see the response here from AJ Brown, a.k.a. 1K Always Open, says, "First off, congratulations. Y'all deserve it." And then he goes on to say, "This is lame. You was on the way out of the league before Mahomes resurrected your career on your 1-year deal, TikTok boy." He admitted that he grabbed you, but don't act like you're like that or ever was. But congratulations again with emojis. Top 5. We're talking about top 5 quarterbacks all time. This is honorary top 5 clapbacks of all time. I thought that was fantastic. TikTok boy.
How many times do you think he read that over before he tweeted it?
See, I was thinking about that, but the way this is so hectic and sporadic all over the place, like that
You
sentence
typed
right
it once,
there.
you make sure you have no typos, and you hit send.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Because when you read right here, you read, what is it? You was on your way to the league before Mahomes resurrected your career, or no. Yeah. He grabbed you, but don't act like you're like that or ever was. I'm like, holy shit, this is a run-on sentence. Like, brother, put a, I don't even know what in there. Parenthesis, a comma.
Professor Manzo?
Yeah, like,
Jesus.
It was like, it took me like 2 times to understand, like, read it and comprehend what he was saying.
Juju was lame as hell for that.
He was. Agreed.
Juju's a
agree on
bum.
that. He is.
He is a bum.
He was lame as, just off the strength of, it'd be different if they was like, man, I hold him. It'd be different if this was like,
oh, that's the wrong one.
He like admitted
4 months down the line, like 2 days later, and he said it that night. Yeah, I held him. It was a good call.
Yeah. He owned
Unless
up to
he
it,
had hit Buddy up and been like, hey, yo, bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna post this all fun and games. You feel me? Let your peoples know, da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, if you hit him up beforehand and be like, yeah.
Had Juju went for 250 and 4 touchdowns, A.J. Brown would have had to shut up.
Meanwhile, though, do you want to look at the stats from Juju from this year?
Chauncey Gardner-Johnson had more interceptions than he had touchdowns.
There you go. Juju posted 6 times as many TikToks as he scored touchdowns this season. 18 TikToks posted, 3 touchdowns scored for @TeamJuju.
18's probably good for him in a season though.
Yeah, he's
so busy.
It was bad when he was in Pittsburgh. It was like
Pittsburgh
3
was-
a day.
It was. When he dancing on logos and shit, that had to
It was
stop.
crazy.
That had to stop.
I
But
don't even, and Juju, like, he not ass.
stat of the day, right?
I think
there for us.
I think he got fat. He way bigger than what he really was when he first came in the league.
You think so?
Yeah, he got fat.
TikTok changed.
He's gonna
him.
be a tight end.
TikTok changed.
Think about how
him.
good he was like his rookie year, his first couple of years.
dude.
No, he's playing with AB. Don't do that. When you got AB on the other side of you,
I'm not gonna say like
That's
how
true,
good, but like,
that's true.
but he was a legit receiver. Like
He is
AB
nice.
or not, exactly.
He is nice.
exactly.
He not as nice. I think he got fat, but it is what it is. Unless you
That's
Tyreek
sad
Hill,
right
you're not
there.
gonna get no real work in Kansas City offense, anyways. Like receiver, because they're gonna make Travis Kelce gonna always be the focal point, whether Tyreek Hill was there or not.
Look at our boy Bryant in the replies over here. By the way, I mean it's just a billion times easier to post a TikTok than to catch a touchdown in the NFL. Bryant, we know that's not why it's funny. All right, love you, Bryant, but come on, man.
Who is that?
He is from Northwood, transferred to Central, tight end that plays there. But come on, man.
Was
Everybody
he on the
knows
podcast
that.
before?
No, he has not been.
Well, how was I supposed to just know him then?
Oh yeah, you know,
My
my guy
bad.
Brian.
That's Bryant.
My bad. I know
Bryant.
Bryant. Y'all don't know him.
You go our boy. Our boy.
My bad, brother. We can move on.
Brother.
Sorry, Bryant.
Don't call me that shit. Don't
I
call me
was
that
telling Bryant, sorry, fam. Hey, bro, in the podcast.
shit. We got one more
Before I
piece.
explode.
We got one more piece, and we're done. You do that.
Oh my God, bro! I gotta get a haircut. My
get a hair-
birthday this
You
weekend,
get a haircut
bro.
tonight?
Yes.
Who, John?
No,
Who open right now? It's 8:30.
bro. I am Mr. Marquette, bro. They gonna fit me in when I want to
Get
get
out
fit
of
in,
here.
bro.
That's crazy. Mr. Marquette is wild. But the XFL, that's what I wanted to finish on today. The XFL. It's time for the XFL to pick off where the NFL is now over with. XFL is their time to shine. League kicks off this weekend. They had a game Saturday night. I believe it's 8:30 on Saturday. So tomorrow, if you're watching this on Friday, we post this. And then they got 2 games on Sunday. And it's going to be really interesting. I'm excited about the XFL, and I wanted to start with this, guys. Got a couple decently big former NFL names that'll be competing in the XFL just this weekend. They're kind of headlining this, as you see here from BR Gridiron. The first one, Josh Gordon,
Hope they
who
don't
has
have-
had...
Hope they don't have any drug tests.
Son of a bitch. Has had a very tumultuous career and is full of headlines and other things. Wasn't he in like the fan controlled football league and arena league
Yeah,
for
I
something
think
for a
so.
little bit,
With Johnny
right?
Manziel.
Yes, exactly. And I just, you hope he plays well in this, right? Because it's definitely a step up from those leagues. So Josh Gordon
He's in
playing
the
for
NFL
the
last year.
what's that?
He's in the NFL last year.
Yeah, on a practice squad, though,
Kansas
right?
City.
Practice squad.
Was he Kansas
No, he
City?
played with Kansas City.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got signed to the practice squad, but then he got promoted to the actual
Okay, I
roster.
didn't know that. Okay, that's sweet. Yeah,
He was in the league last year.
yeah. So
And
good
then
for
he
him.
was with Seattle before that.
Yeah.
Well, he's back in Seattle, but this time he's playing for the Sea Dragons,
Not
which
the Seahawks.
Sweet
kind of
helmet.
sick.
Their helmet's
Yes.
sweet.
100%, dude. The XFL has stepped up their uniform game. A lot of overhauled logos. The Pittsburgh Maulers changed their colors and some other things too, which is pretty sweet to
I
embrace.
loved the XFL. when
Not
they-
XFL news. The Michigan Panthers let go of Jared Fisher.
I know. I kind of sound like he stepped away, but I'm not sure. I'm not going to have to verify that. But sticking on the NFL guys here.
XFL.
Yes, but former NFL guys in the XFL.
Nope, they're XFLers
Okay,
now.
pal. Josh Gordon. Move over to this. Martavius
Wow.
Bryant.
I forgot he
The
My eyes
Vegas
closed.
Vipers.
Vic Beasley next. Vic Beasley and
You definitely seen this shit.
I actually know who the last one is.
what's the team? Paxton Lynch.
Yep.
Shut up, bro. You looked at this earlier. You definitely seen this. You definitely just looked this shit up on your phone. I don't want to hear this.
How I look it up on my phone?
Because it's on Twitter. And you're not from Montana, so you have Twitter.
Montana. Oh, I'm like, what Montana got to do anything? I thought he played for the
Nah.
Tampa. Is it Tampa Bay?
Lynch?
Yeah.
It's in Florida.
Orlando.
Yep. What's their mascot?
I don't know. Magicians.
Magicians.
Yes, but Paxton Lynch and
Somebody
Vic
from
Beasley
Ferris
are
just
there
signed
too,
with a USFL team.
Did they?
Yup.
Who?
As a corner from last year's team. Not this year, but the first national championship team. Saw it on Twitter. Don't know who, don't know how I found it, don't know how I saw it, but
Sweet.
it was there.
We'll
Congrats to him.
Yeah, congrats to him. We'll have to look into that. But to finish it up, XFL, just wanted to talk about it a little bit. Looks like a couple rule changes coming to this year.
Uh-oh.
Sounds like universal challenges. This one here says 4th and 15 onside kicks, which I definitely have to find here. Hold on.
What does that mean?
One thing, too, the sports gambling interest, something they're taking a look at for the XFL, right? Because gambling is just huge right now. Like, it is massive.
Yes. I wouldn't know.
And, yeah, right, none of us would know. But as a world, as a country.
I have heard that it's real popular.
We've heard rumblings.
Yes.
Yeah, we've heard rumblings. We're very, what do they say? Ear to the ground over here. Yeah. Just very in tune with what's going on.
We're not in Montana, so we know what's going on.
Yeah, we do. And ESPN coordinating producer Brian Jarrock said Wednesday, he said, we're going to grow sports betting with the XFL as Vegas grows. So he said in a conference call, our understanding is that Vegas needs to see a few weeks of football before they expand to prop bets and live lines and other things. So I would assume this first week or two is going to be very, trial and error as far as the XFL sports bets go. But I know there's going to be some football, guys.
I would bet $1,000 Josh Gordon 40 yards.
Yeah.
If I were to bet, and if I was a betting man, I'm not a betting man. I'm an NCAA student athlete.
Exactly. That's
don't indulge in that.
These are all hypotheticals. But those first few weeks, right, are going to be kind of like touch and go. But I guarantee you, like the way that the bettors that we know have an itch to bet on football, they're going to be all in on this shit.
Yeah,
they are going to be all in on this shit.
Sure.
And
I know people that will bet on what is that called? Esports.
There you go. There you go.
So they'll bet on this.
Yeah, 100%. Like people will go on an app and look to see what they can bet on in that day.
Like, what can I bet on? Oh, these look like good odds. Yeah. Like, bro, you just bet on cricket.
And
bro, do you know how to play cricket? Bro, the odds was like -1,000, bro. But you got to win a couple dollars.
The parlay is still going to hit.
Bet on polo. India.
But I think it's very smart because when you talk about finding different ways to entice people to actually watch the XFL, gambling and sports betting is a huge one. Because you think about for people who gamble, the reason for them gambling really is just to be so much more invested because they feel like they have a stake in the game, right? Because their money's in it. So if you give people that extra stake in the game and that make the outcomes more meaningful for that select amount of people, I think it's great. He says that we'll be very aggressive in talking about sports betting during the games, the XFL. I can see them doing some crazy shit too, because they do a lot of things that are just very different, especially from the NFL. And I'm gonna find here. Here's a couple changes that they're making right here. A change that fans may celebrate is that fumbles that occur inside the field of play and exit the end zone will not result in a turnover and a touchback, giving the defending team possession of the ball from its own 20-yard line. Unlike the NFL, the team that fumbled the ball will retain possession from the spot of the fumble. How?
What?
Did y'all just hear that? How I heard that?
Yeah.
I didn't process
I
it.
guess. It's like...
How the fuck are they going to do that?
Because it's just like when you fucking... Like when DK, the COVID year, he was finna score a touchdown. Fucking Trayvon Diggs punches the ball out on the 1-yard line. Go through the end zone, touchback. I guess, but at the same time, like, no, because if you fumble, you shouldn't be rewarded with the ball.
Another one here, and this says, in an attempt to encourage more returns on kickoffs while maintaining player safety, only the kicker and returner on kickoff plays will be allowed to move until the ball is caught or after the ball has been on the ground for at least 3 seconds.
That is so stupid.
It's going to be very weird. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm very interested to see it. It says it's going to be similar to the way the kickoff was in the 2020 XFL season. At the start of the kickoff, both teams will be lined up 5 yards apart. The kicker kicks the ball. I guess he can run down the field.
Yeah.
And then the returner can run. So you get like a one-on-one matchup. Then everyone else, as soon as he catches it,
why don't you
just goes
put
at it? So that does.
Why
that
don't
also
you just put like an actual skill player at kicker
That can go make plays.
that can go make plays.
Like a Jeff Heath would be perfect for this shit.
Yeah.
Starting safety.
Who's the guy for
kicking?
the Chiefs safety right now?
Justin Reid.
Justin Reid. He can kick. Like a guy like that would be great at this.
He'll definitely be fielding some calls from XFL teams.
Yeah. Yeah. He's going to actually go down to the XFL.
Be sent down to the minors. But it's very interesting. And then finally, teams will have the option, instead of onside kicks that are typically lower percentage plays, for 1 down to convert a 4th and 15 play to retain possession and keep the offense on the field. So you score a touchdown, you want the ball back. You're not kicking an onside kick. You can choose to go 4th and 15. You got to get 15 yards.
Didn't they do something like that?
Yeah, they did that. They did that the first time. But I like that. I like that a lot.
too.
I think that's awesome.
Because I feel like the onside kick be weak as hell.
It
Because
really is, man.
like unless the return team just fuck it up, like they gonna get the ball. 4th and 15, you got to nut up and get a stop. And the offense got to call. They got to have a play call.
makes it more
and it's
exciting,
not
too.
so fluky to where they go out there.
Exactly.
They're running a bunch of you got a real play. Like your whole playbook is wide open.
A lot more skill. It's not, like you said, it's not dependent on a fluke or a weird
You know what I'm
bounce
saying?
or whatever. And I think what's really cool about it, too, we really think about, is that talk about getting into this situation in the context of the game, is that your offense probably just went on this drive down the field, right? The defense has been out there. They're gassed. The offense is too, but for a defense to be out there for that long is really tough. Now you got to come out and make one more stop, right? Yeah. And these guys are going to be just pumped. So I'm excited to see that. I think it'll be pretty sweet. I'm rooting for the XFL. I definitely will be tuning in.
I like the XFL way more
good.
than the USFL.
Right now, I feel like they're in a much better position than the USFL, but that's just neither of them played a snap of football this year. So I guess we're going to see what the product looks like. That'll be interesting too. Will we be able to tell a difference watching USFL to XFL games in the product of football? What do you think?
The USFL is SEC. The XFL is Pac-12, Big 12.
Really? You think so?
Yeah,
I agree. I can agree
USFL
with
going
that.
to be more low scoring, better athletes, things of that sort. The XFL will be very high scoring, not a lot of defense, a lot of shenanigans.
A lot of shenanigans?
Yeah.
I'm ready for some shenanigans.
I bet you is.
That's all we got today, fellas. I told you, I say short episode, then it turns into a...
Yep.
Longest one to date.
No, we always finish like right around an hour. Like it's creepy close how we're always wrap up. No matter what I put on the rundown, it's like an hour. It's really odd. But I feel like I never look at the time.
The Cardinals released Vance
We're consistent.
Joseph.
I don't know who that is.
They're DC. Never heard of a coordinator being released
That's really odd.
because they hired Philly defensive coordinator as their head coach.
Yeah, and then Philly's offensive coordinator is going to the Colts, correct?
Yeah.
So they lose both coordinators, which is wild.
Eric Bieniemy,
Is interviewing for an OC job with the Commanders?
bro, what?
I think he's just trying to like.
Right, that's where you're going with that, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Right? Like,
I think like to prove that it's not just Andy Reid. That's
It's a dumb narrative, though, to me.
I mean, that,
Andy Reid got maybe 2 years left in him. If I'm Bieniemy, I'm just gonna stay there, and then when he get done,
Take the reins.
take the reins.
he gonna take the reins. NFL been weird.
NFL is weird. Only thing weirder than that is this podcast. Thank you for
and
tuning
people from Montana.
in. And people from Montana who don't have internet and won't see any of this podcast anywhere.
You're gonna have an outrageous amount of Montanians slander this podcast.
But they won't see it.
You want to talk about Montana? Who knows of the Upper Peninsula? Everyone knows Washkegan, Montana.
Washkegan.
I just made that up. I'm finna look up Montana state capital.
Thank you for listening. D1 Rejects.